You might as well say this game ended up being for the 8th spot in the play-in tournament out west. It's Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves hosting Brandon Ingram and the New Orleans Pelicans. And by the way, B.I. struck first. He's been playing unreal ball the second half of the season, especially in the last few weeks. This game was no different. Ingram goes for 42 points. He actually does miss a shot. But on this play, it's not about B.I. Mcdaniels called for his second foul. So McDaniels is going to head to the locker room. You see right there, he swings in frustration and actually breaks his hand. His season most likely is over unless the T-Wolves go on a long playoff run. Minnesota would fight back despite losing McDaniels. It's Karl-Anthony Towns with the throwdown. Other end we go, it's B.I. for sure. New Orleans up double digits, third quarter. C.J. McCollum, one of the smoothest games in the league. McCollum with the midi. And then C.J., another mid-range jump shot. 23 points, 5 rebounds for C.J. So cool. Minnesota needs a spark in the worst way. They got some things going on. Rudy Gobert no longer a part of this game. So guess who steps up? It's A.E. for threes. Edwards cuts the T-Wolves deficit down to 2. He had 26 points. And here comes that big fella, Karl-Anthony Towns, with a 3 of his own. Not once. Game so nice, you probably gotta make it twice. Minnesota takes over. Towns had 30 points. Can they hold on for that 8th spot in the play-in tournament? Not so fast. It's Trey Murphy tying the game up at 95. But look at this block. With Minnesota up 2, it's A.E. preserving their lead with a big-time block. Edwards doing good. Then he does some bad. CJ gets some get back with the steal, but look at Mike Conley right there to come away with the basketball, get it to Edwards and 1. That's a pivotal spot in this game, the biggest play in the game. Minnesota up 3 in the closing seconds. The Pelicans get a chance to tie. Gotta believe they could have got a better shot than that one. Murphy's a phenomenal shooter, but that ain't it, bro. The T-Wolves, despite a lot of drama going on in this game, somehow, someway, get the 5-point win, and they're now the 8th seed out west. Well, obviously, we had Jaden McDaniels go full Moneybag Yo style. Lately, I feel like it's me versus me. Nobody's talking about him swinging at the wall and losing. Everybody's talking about this little kerfluffle right before the end of the first half between Rudy Gobert and Kyle Anderson, where you clear as day see Rudy Gobert throw a punch at Kyle Anderson. Minnesota did ask Rudy Gobert to leave after that little punch thrown, and he was out for the remainder of the game. I don't know what Rudy's status will be as the Minnesota Timberwolves are now the 8th seed out west, and they take on the Lakers tonight. Like, it ain't no time to wait. We get into it tonight. The winner gets the Memphis Grizzlies in the playoffs. So there is a lot of alleged. I just want to say this. We do got some really good reporters saying there was an argument between Kyle and Rudy on the bench, and it looks like Kyle Anderson maybe called Rudy the B word in the midst of the argument. Again, what exactly was said was still up in the air. I think Rudy Gobert challenged Kyle Anderson to be better. I think Kyle told Rudy to get some rebounds. I think he added a couple of expletives on it. What did I just say? Some expletives on it. And I think that's how we end up with Rudy Gobert feeling like, I guess, his manhood got challenged and he swung at Kyle. Now, I will say this. There is some audio floating around on social media in which it appears Kyle Anderson's not the biggest fan of Rudy Gobert. Somewhere along the lines, you hear I think you hear Kyle Anderson say, yo, Minnesota's got a decision to make this summer about Rudy Gobert. I don't think Kyle Anderson's the biggest Rudy Gobert fan. I think he thinks too many T-Wolves kiss up to Rudy Gobert. I just want to say this is a multiple-time Defensive Player of the Year award winner. Minnesota traded a lot of assets to get Rudy G this past offseason, which means as much as I think Kyle Anderson can be like a glue piece on your team, especially with your second unit, the reality is most likely the Minnesota Timberwolves are riding with Rudy G for the future. Not even because they're picking a side between Rudy and Kyle. It's because they've invested a lot in Rudy Gobert, and it will likely be very hard to get a return on that investment if they just were to trade Rudy G willy-nilly. Whew, lot. And by the way, this is what makes me so sad is a couple weeks ago, as soon as Karl-Anthony Towns got back, for all my Minnesota T-Wolf fans out there, y'all, I'm sure, appreciate this take. Minnesota was playing as good a ball as anybody. I was looking around like, yo, the team you don't want to play right now is Minnesota. We in Minnesota now, but then everything just goes to hell. Just like that, Minnesota seems to be a team that clearly is not on the same page as a unit right now. Their anchor in the middle is seemingly spiraling. That's not good leadership, by the way. Rudy G is dead wrong for that. He did apologize to the team afterwards for his involvement in that incident. They're seemingly spiraling at the wrong time of the year, right? That's not good. You bring in a guy like Rudy Gobert to be the difference maker around this time of the year. You was able to get to the playoffs last year. You gave Memphis fits last year. You're one game away from getting a first-round rematch against a team. Again, y'all, look, Minnesota and Memphis was very much so competitive. If you're in Minnesota, you add Rudy Gobert, that should be the difference maker now, right? I don't know if we're going to even be able to tell that. I don't know what Minnesota's going to do with Rudy G. You got to have your big fella out there. I don't know if they're going to suspend him for swinging at a guy clear as day on the bench in the middle of a game. I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this one, man. I mean, not the right type of the year to have this type of stuff. By the way, Minnesota wins the game, which is going to get probably left as a footnote in this. They actually beat the Pelicans, a New Orleans team that's been playing good ball of late, to win the 8th spot and get set up this matchup with the Lakers. Big time matchup from the Crypto.com arena tonight. What y'all think about this whole thing, man? I want y'all to let me know in the comment section below. By the way, I love Draymond Green with a little troll game back to Rudy G. Rudy Gobert had something to say about Draymond when he allegedly, or not even alleged, we saw it. He swung at Jordan Poole. Now you got Draymond with the same type of time. I love that, by the way. I like pettiness. I do like when pettiness is done right, and that's pettiness done right. Y'all let me know what y'all think about Rudy Gobert and Kyle Anderson, and then Jay McDaniels versus Jay McDaniels. Time, love, and support. What are the T-Wolves' chances against the Lakers tonight? Let me know. Comment section below. I'm out.